They're regular center-left Democrats who are not angry about the rich. They just want to be secure in their own economy and their own lives and see their kids once in a while. If that's the case, Trump is going to be tough to beat. So I don't know. I think in either case, I think it's going to be tough to beat Trump. I don't know whether the Democratic Party's ideologically shifted as far to the progressive side as Bernie believes, I think it will. And I think that's the big question. Are we happy to see, is anybody really happy to see a very polarized election coming up and thinks that their side's going to win? I am skeptical of just the left beating just the Trump, whatever Trump is. I'm not sure he's conservative. He's whatever he is on the right. I'm not sure he can do that. And if it can't, why are we doing that? Why is the Democratic Party doing that? And then again, they can't outsource the nomination to Mike Bloomberg. That's an outsourcing. That's getting a designated driver, getting somebody to get you home, but not one of your own. This is going to be tricky. Do you take a Democratic socialist or a Republican to be the designated driver? It's unusual, this situation. So I'm a bit frustrated, and I'm not the answer to all questions. Brian and Rachel, I'm just not tonight. I'm a little frustrated because I don't know what this... It was a victory. A win's a win, as you say at the New York Giants, New York football Giants, yes. But it wasn't the victory of a guy that got 60% last time.
First of all, Bernie Sanders will be here till the end of this race. He is built for... He is durable here. He's got renewable resources, a very committed base. But I just want to say again, there are warning signs in these first two races here, too. We can say that he's bringing the people along with him, but 75% of them didn't come. And that's true in Iowa as well. So the fact is he's not, he won 60% in the state last time. And yes, it was a 2%.
Let him finish.
But if there is a center-left candidate around whom people gravitate, there is a majority of voters there to take him on. Whether that happens is a big question. We've got two moderate candidates who come out of this in very strong shape tonight, Buttigieg and Klobuchar.
He has been saying, the former vice president, that he'll beat the president like a drum. Let's just say there were 2 drumsticks used on him last night as he placed 5th. As for Senator Warren, it's very unclear where exactly she expects to find a base of support moving forward. This was supposed to be the tailor-made contest for her. She's from just about 40 miles south of here, well known to New Hampshire, as is Bernie Sanders, given that they're neighbors, like-minded, sort of, liberal, intellectual, academic New England Democrats all live across this state, and yet was able to only place 4th. Her campaign released a lengthy 2,000-word memo yesterday outlining the theory that Mayor Buttigieg will hit a ceiling, Senator Sanders will hit a ceiling when it comes to races across the country. Because remember, we're going now into states like California, Colorado, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, Minnesota, North Carolina, Massachusetts, her home state. Those have broader appeal, broader electorates, more mainstream, and a lot of independent voters. And her argument is that she'll be better equipped to unify the party and amass delegates. If she doesn't do well, though, in Nevada and South Carolina, don't be surprised if she pulls out the rug and ends it, because would you really want to go home to your home state on Super Tuesday and not win?
People inside the Biden campaign are trying to be as optimistic as they can, talking about South Carolina, where he went tonight, leaving precipitously, very quickly from New Hampshire. But now they saw the handwriting here that he was not going to get a single delegate out of New Hampshire, as we've just been reporting from our decision desk. It's remarkably grim also for Elizabeth Warren, and they're trying to say, well, it's even worse for her than it is for us, because she is the neighbor from Massachusetts and she doesn't have a viable alternative. They can at least say they still have hopes of relying on that African-American vote in South Carolina, despite the shock just in the last 24 hours of seeing Mike Bloomberg get this big surge in African-American support in the Quinnipiac national poll to the disadvantage of Joe Biden. Exactly. Bloomberg going up 22 points and Biden going down by exactly the same amount. So they are obviously not happy with these results, but they still say that they have a narrative if they can squeak it out in South Carolina. If they cannot in South Carolina, they said, especially this one advisor I just spoke to, that's another story.
Is this about winning the nomination to run against President Trump, or is this about saving his pride?
Well, this is about becoming the nominee. And if
still.
you don't become the nominee, there is no pride for Joe Biden. For the former sitting vice president, 8-year vice president, who got into this race late and agonized over getting into it, perhaps too late, but did not show the kind of fire. And what we're also seeing is a lot of dissatisfaction with his performance on this job.
The thing that I have really been struck with, and it's bothered me personally because I've tried to get interviews with him, his campaign and he, the candidate, decided not to do a single Sunday television program. All the most important ways to reach millions of people, lead the news that week, and they chose not until this Sunday when they finally agreed to do one of the programs. What, did they think that was a smart strategy?
I think that they sheltered him way too much. There's going to be a lot of after-action reporting on this, but the bottom line is Joe Biden did not do well here, and there's a lot of explaining to do.
I also have to take a moment and just digest the fact that a former 2-term vice president of the United States didn't even place, it looks like, we're not done yet, but it looks like he's headed towards not even placing in the top 4.
Right.
I mean, getting single digits of support, not even getting enough support to get one delegate from New Hampshire. I mean, that is stunning. Now, he, at least at the end, set himself up for that by starting the debate, as you mentioned, with Arlette, at the last debate, which everybody in New Hampshire who I talked to was watching, by saying that they wouldn't support him. But still, it is by far one of the biggest storylines of the night, despite the fact that his campaign worked very hard to set expectations at these levels.
No one has ever come in 4th in Iowa and 5th in New Hampshire and then gone on to get the nomination.
And the combined total of Buttigieg and Klobuchar tells you that Bernie Sanders, while winning here, has got a long way to go to build a coalition to win this nomination.
The moderate lane appears a little wider today.
It's a little wider. It's still a little crowded, though.
Claire, I think it's fair to say you represent the centrist left. So, assuming that's the case, what does your lane of the party do here? I mean, you've got Biden. Is somebody going to talk to him about potentially deciding not to go forward with the race? He's hanging everything on South Carolina. I mean, how do you coalesce? How do you decide, okay, we need one standard bearer here, or is this going to be Bernie Sanders?
I think there are folks out there that will hopefully convince some of these candidates to coalesce after Super Tuesday. If you look, a lot more people are voting for a more moderate, pragmatic approach to the problems we face.